Alright, this video is going to be based on what we know. What was left concerning the teachings of Elijah Muhammad and now Minister Louis Farrakhan. Now, I must say that I have respect for both of them. But, that's right, that's some negative shit I must say. There is a difference between the two when it comes to teaching. So, you have Elijah. He laid out a strong foundation and he taught it for about 40 plus years. Exact same thing. His foundation was that the European Caucasian people, according to the Bible, he says, is the devil. He says, according to the Quran, they are the devil. Okay, this is what he taught. And he says that he was asked in the interview, is there any such thing as a good European white man or Caucasian? He said, let the Bible tell it. None of them is good. So today, and as well, in the Supreme Wisdom lessons, he said, do not take away from my teachings or add to my teachings. I think y'all know where I'm going with this. So, the question is asked, are there any Caucasians allowed in the said nation of Islam? The answer was no. But today, there has been a change. And this change is because of Minister Louis Farrakhan. This is just what it is. Okay? I'm not trying to turn nobody. I'm not trying to come down on nobody. I am only stating the facts. Alright? And it's a fact that Elijah didn't choose anybody to be in his seat. He said, I didn't choose myself. Therefore, I can't choose anyone to be my predecessor after me. That's what he said. Now, some people may say, who are you to speak on Elijah Muhammad? You didn't know Elijah. You don't know me. I have had what they call lucid dreams. And I have talked with Elijah Muhammad on the astral plane. Okay? So you don't know me. You don't know our conversation. Alright? And I've had out-of-body experiences and talked to my grandma, not grandma, sorry, but my auntie who passed years ago. And she told me that Elijah is always watching you. Now, I don't know. Now, that shit shook me because it was some off-the-wall shit. You know, I was looking for other answers. But anyway, moving on. There has been a change in the Nation of Islam. And this change is basically what Minister Louis Farrakhan has done. So, according to the Holy Quran, it says that Allah is the best known. Not L. Ron Hubbard, not Scientology. Remember, they have a foundation, which is the Supreme Wisdom lessons. And the Supreme Wisdom lesson states, do not add or take away from my teachings. Okay? Now, all members of the Nation of Islam are to remember these by heart, these Supreme Wisdom lessons. Apparently, they ain't remembering shit because they didn't change all this stuff. So Farrakhan has basically, he's allowed Caucasians in the Nation of Islam. See, let me make something plain. Because I'm speaking up for Elijah, what he taught. See, Elijah taught black people to love themselves when black people had no love for themselves, because we were taught everything against ourselves as far as living in a melanated body. So basically what he wanted to do and what he was trying to do was restore the black nation. You see, if you read Stolen Legacy by George M. James, he tells you that the black people were the rulers of the entire globe, on the whole entire planet. We ran it. We was a nation. Nothing but black people. And Elijah came to restore that order. So what he came was with the law of nature. Black people just with black people. So that we could finally have something of our own that we could call our own. Okay? But when you have a person like Farrakhan, no disrespect, but this is what it is. When you have a person like Farrakhan to come and allow other races or Caucasians to slide in there, okay? The shit has been changed. And when you allow Scientology, and yet I thought Allah was the best known. Okay, now Allah's supposed to be all of us, black people. But yet there's supposed to be one supreme, okay, above us. If Allah is the best knower, and that means black people, and L. Ron Hubbard is not a black person, then those teachings from L. Ron Hubbard should not be accepted. That's just what it is. Alright? This is what it is. So when it comes to Farrakhan versus Elijah Muhammad, there has been a major change. Because if you look down the wheel of time, in the past, what has happened when the Moors allowed Caucasians in? Okay, when Akhenaten destroyed the priesthood of Amun-Ra, intermixing took place, and what happened? Egypt was overthrown. So it is today. If you can see cause and effect and look within the future, you will know that the Nation of Islam will be overthrown because history repeats itself. You should learn from the history so that you won't make those mistakes in the future. But apparently, that's not what it is. So, either Farrakhan has lost his way, or he's just running out of ideas, or maybe he's sold out. I don't know, shit. I wasn't there if this shit did happen. Or just maybe he could be cloned. They've been cloning motherfuckers now. Okay, who knows? Or he could be a shape-shifting reptilian. Okay, he could work with the Illuminati. But all I know is that he didn't change the teachings. Okay, I do know that shit. Because I didn't study all of the religious systems. So I know this shit. So, is the Nation of Islam the same as it used to be when Elijah was the head of it? Hell no. Not even close. It's different. Okay? Totally different. And for people to accept Farrakhan, that is a whole nother that's a whole nother system. That is not Elijah's, okay? Elijah's system was not like that, okay? So if you claim, see, the thing I learned is that Farrakhan, he will use Elijah Muhammad's name as a shield, but he slide in other teachings that Elijah Muhammad did not agree with, period. Okay? So it's the same way that the Caucasians would use Jesus' name to do wicked shit, to slide in filth. Okay? All the while, now they're using Jesus' name, but yet they mistreating your ass. So it is with the way Louis Farrakhan does his thing. Now, I'm not taking away the good that he has done, because his good outweighs his bad. But as far as the black people establishing a nation to themselves, you can forget about that shit. That shit over with. It's over with. So, when I was reading a book by Lob Sang Tuesday Ramper, I think it's called The Twilight, and he said when he consulted the Akashic Records, he said that in the future, all races will begin to mix. He said the Akashic Records doesn't lie. Okay? And this is what people call deja vu, when you see into the future, but actually it's really Akashic Records. You really didn't tap into the Akashic Records. So people use the word deja vu because they really don't understand the shit. But the Akashic Records is in your 8th chakra, which is in the ethers. And everything is already predestined. Okay, this is why some people can see shit and then they walk right into it. So basically, you have a higher self, and it wants to experience such and such. So everything is already laid out. So when your soul travel to certain constellations and shit, and it pick up certain energies, it knows exactly what energies to take in, because it knows what type of lifestyle you're gonna live, so that you can withstand it. Whatever you are facing, your soul will be able to withstand it. This is why people say God won't put more on you than your soul cannot bear, because your soul is already preparing itself once it go through certain constellations or certain zodiacs. Let me rephrase that. It already knows what it will need. Okay, so this has a lot to do with the Akashic Records. That's how it knows, because there is a such thing as tapping into the ethers and seeing into the future. All right, but anyway, and that's based off your higher self, because your higher self is actually in the highest dimension, experiencing itself in a low dimension. Therefore, it can see into the future. But anyway, getting back on course. Again, if you were to look down the wheel of time, all you're going to see is intermixing, because what Farrakhan is doing is causing other races to come into the nation, and this will cause intermixing. So it was with the Moors, so it is today. Okay? When the Moors went to Europe and they started taking them out the Dark Ages, the Caucasians out the Dark Ages, they started intermixing. Okay? And infiltration started. Alright? This is just history repeating itself. And Elijah Muhammad wasn't with that shit. Okay? Now anybody that did any research on Elijah Muhammad, they know he was strong in this shit. Alright? But also in Tuesday Live Sayings Rumple's book, the book called Twilight, where he consulted the Akashic Records, he said that in the end there will be a tan looking race, a golden looking race, because all the races will begin to mix. And he said this is what color you would get. Okay? Also, David Wilcox in his book called the Sourcefield Investigation, he talks about the same thing. He said they mistranslated the word seclorum, or the word age, and actually it is the golden race, not golden age. There would be a golden race that will come about in the future, and that has a lot to do with intermixing. Okay, and Law Saying Robert also said that all the black people will return to Africa. That's what he said. He said when he consulted the Akashic Records. Now that shit tying with the Bible, because the Bible says that your people, he said, he shall move you from the east and gather you in the west, or gather us in the west. All right, and he talked about the 400-year bondage, and then he said after the 400 years he shall judge that nation, and we shall return to our land of our forefathers, and we shall die in the good old age. So you know that's what the Bible say. Also what Law Saying Rama say in his shit. Also you can read Jeremiah's book, Ancient Egypt Light of the World, where it talks about the ship of Ra, or the boat of souls coming out of Amenti, meaning hidden world. And it said that the ship of Ra was aimed towards the west, and it was talking about how it was going to come. And it says where it says Amen Ra was in the ship, and Tahuti was there, his messenger.
Must be close.
Okay, and Tahuti said, "Let me drive the ship, Lord." And then it says that he says that, "Let me drive the ship to the west."
It don't matter how far you are.
Where those he said something about I'm trying to quote shit, but I ain't gonna quote. But anyway, he said they have been praying headlong, the starry ones, because we started this. They have been praying headlong, and they do not have a way to lift themselves up. So, and then it says, in the end of it, it said, and by the way, they were saved. So the Bible talking about come out and hurt my people and all this shit. But some type of way, I don't know if they piggybacking off each other. The Bible could be piggybacking off Ancient Egypt Light of the World, or the shit could be right and exact, I don't know. But Elijah Muhammad talked about some of the same shit. Okay, as far as like prophecy go, he talked about Farah Muhammad coming on his big mothership, and in the book of Ezekiel, it talk about these wheels coming out of the earth, and in the book of Jeremiah's book, Ancient Egypt Light of the World, talking about this ship of Ra coming out of the earth. So there's a lot of validity as far as documents and shit, as far as like people coming out of the earth. And if you did any research on the inner earth, this is where all our black melanated ancient ancestors went. They just did not evaporate or this goddamn earth. Okay, so This is how this is supposed to take place. And it's supposed to be around a time like this. Okay? As far as prophecy goes. Because in the book of Daniel, it talks about there is a set time for each prophecy. And it talks about the Lord, the Lord of the ancient, the ancient one, the head of days. You know, he's coming on this fiery chariot, which ain't nothing but a damn UFO. Okay, that's all that is. Cause I was sitting in the yard and I saw a damn UFO and it looked like a beam of fucking light. It looked like a piece of the sun had chipped off the sun. Okay, it looked like exactly what they say, a fiery chariot. Okay, so, and these ain't nothing but Merkaba's. They are controlled by thought, not like a wheel or like we turn our steering wheel. No, it don't work like that with them. But anyway, I thought I'd just drop this and maybe make some people that study in these systems, as far as Islam, the Nation of Islam that is, and people that, you know, follow and study Elijah Muhammad. You know, I just thought I'd lay that out there, just for some of you to think about. And this is based off truth, not bashing anybody, okay? It's not my place to judge nobody. My judgment won't stand any goddamn way, but thought I'd lay that out there. But until then, peace. There's also information concerning a saving as far as like black people in America in the book called Encounters. It's by Dr. Flora, where she puts this Hispanic lady up under hypnosis. I think it's in the part called, they call themselves the Planters. But anyway, in this part of the book, is Hispanic lady is up in hypnosis and she's recalling what happened to her when she had been abducted by some black people in a spaceship. And she was shown into the future. And she was saying that on this spaceship, she saw black people sitting on these like bench type objects. And she asked this big, tall, black guy, she was like, what are they doing here? And it says that basically when she saw them, they looked bewildered and confused and shit. And the guy was like, we just got done dropping bombs on America and we saved these people. So, according to a couple books, there will be a saving in the United States of America concerning black people. Because when she asked them, what were they doing? He said that, and he also said, we're watching our children. We have put their souls in special places such as the ghettos, and they are there for a specific time for a special purpose. Okay, so there is a set timer in the melanated body that is going to awaken, and there is a specific purpose that's within us that we must do. There's something that we must do. Okay. This is what it said. So, everybody just ride the wave. We're going to be alright. But anyway, that book, Encounters, y'all got to research Simeon Toko. See, these elites know the power that we possess. Okay, after they have seen what Simeon Toko, Simon Kambunku, Sheikh Ahmadu Bamboo, however you say his name, these other ascended masters, they seen what they could do. They had supernatural abilities. They became literally X-Men. Okay? So, this is why there's an agenda to kill off black people around this time, because we are going to activate. I can't stress this enough. This is what it is. But anyway, there has been a change in the Nation of Islam. But until then, y'all read them books. Ancient Egypt Light of the World. Encounters by Dr. Flora. Ancient Egypt Light of the World is by Jared Master. Also read Los Saint Ramble's book. It's called Twilight. And of course, the Bible and the Holy Quran talks about these wheels coming out of the earth, and the Quran talks about it, seeing the Lord, Allah coming through the clouds with angels and ranks after ranks, and book of Ancient Egypt Light of the World, talking about the ship of Ra coming out of the earth. It's always out of the damn earth. So this is why our ancestors went again. But until then, peace.